Welcome to Satori, a project with a unique and original style created by an innovative architect. Just 2.5 kilometers from the main square of Villa de Leyva, a set of houses is being built, designed with a blend of modernity and antiquity. The combination of ancient arts opens the door to a beautiful transformation in the architecture of Villa de Leyva.
In the municipality of Villa de Leyva, you can find several buildings in its historic center that represent the Spanish colonial architecture. One of these buildings is the cathedral, which was built between 1605 and 1665, located in the main square. The second significant construction is the house where the first Congress was held in 1812. The third important construction is the Church of Carmen. This church was built during the period of the 1850s. These three constructions are classic examples of Spanish architectural and engineering techniques. In this architecture, the distinctive features are the volumes and the longitudinal and vertical alignments of the walls, seeking to pay homage to the sky with their impressive heights. In fact, this is a common characteristic in Catholic churches worldwide. In Satori, we find that we are going to blend the barns of the countryside, the barns that exist practically throughout our territory worldwide. We were farmers before city dwellers. We mix this with a touch of the modernity of the New York loft, creating very special spaces with a strong focus on their bioenergetic content. The association of earth, adobe, and wood with our health is immense. Sleeping enclosed between earth and adobe feels vastly different from sleeping surrounded by iron and energy cables. We discard that approach and seek a space where we can bring this idea to life. One of the most important materials in our construction is stone. We extract the stone from quarries, employing local labor, individuals who are physically strong due to exposure to the elements. In the extraction process, we use iron chisels and a mallet to create holes in the stone until it fractures. So as we split it, the stone has a natural grain. We start forming blocks. These blocks are then transported to the construction site, where they undergo a second intervention. When we begin, we first search for the faces of the stones that will be joined both vertically and horizontally. In the vertical direction, we are aiming to construct columns that provide stability. We intend to preserve the natural faces of the stones. These are surfaces that have been forming over many years and centuries, and we want to emphasize this. We aim to retain these surfaces for enjoyment and as a tribute to nature, much like honoring what nature has bestowed upon us, a small homage to the natural world.
The architect's idea is to preserve the traditional construction, as it was with stone, because during the time they were building, there were no steel rods, no cement, in many aspects. So, they used what were called barrack or piece walls, sturdy wood for the roof, and cane tied together with teak fibers. The wooden beams had joints, and in this way, they were interconnected and supported each other. At this point, as you can see, we have evolved. We have adopted a different style, and the stone is now tightly and securely fitted. Therefore, it's essential to work with precision, ensuring perfect joints. The stones are stacked with a slight offset, or sometimes a backhoe is used to position them. For instance, the column you see there is 5.80 meters tall, and the purpose is to return to the old, which is what we want to recreate or reconstruct. That ancient construction where people feel like they are returning to their roots or to tradition.
Phoebus will be our ally throughout the development of the common areas, with a focus on the orchard and gardens. It aligns with our entire philosophy, and there, we find a partner.
Our concept in creating gardens is always to work on the ecological, spiritual, and educational aspects. At the same time, it can be complemented with different healing mandalas that we work on, constructed with stones, serving as tools for healing and as instruments for cleansing the soul and heart. Phoebus signifies in the language of the indigenous Muisca people, which was the Chibcha language or Chibcha tongue. It means winds. As we all know, wind is one of the uncontrollable variables that causes the most erosion. Therefore, the first thing done in a process is to plant vegetation that can withstand these climatic variables. So, we began conducting various studies in the public library of Villa de Leyva and at the Alexander von Humboldt Institute, with the support of numerous scientists who work there. Through our research, we arrived at the conclusion of introducing 70 different species of trees, including industrial, ornamental, and fruit-bearing trees. We started reclaiming the space. However, within this process, we decided to avoid bringing grasses, as grass is one of the major invasive species, particularly quicolo, and it's not native here. So, for the surface layer of the soil, we left it undisturbed, and what we did was secure the lower part of the soil with roots. This allowed us to maintain the soil in place during heavy rains and enabled us to develop various types of grasses that have grown naturally. They have only become integrated themselves during the process because what we wanted to avoid was bringing those grasses and planting them here, as it would have brought different species of insects and animals that come with those grasses, and they would have started competing with a wide variety of insects, ants, and all those small creatures that exist in this type of desert-like surface.
In my architecture profession, including my studies, I've been engaged for 45 years in revisiting ideas, leading to the exploration of a very ancient technical development known as rammed earth, with all its implications. Initially, I naturally studied the subject to some extent, and then I set out to find craftsmen and individuals already familiar with the trade. While I possessed the theory, I discovered Master Mauricio in Barichara. Subsequently, we began pursuing clients, as has been the case thus far. For this purpose, we have examples like San Diego, Dije, Maracay, and more. However, I couldn't fully execute the design and concept at 100% because clients have their requirements, which is normal. Consequently, they sought to employ my materials in other contexts, despite the initial commitment that was established. We are situated in the Monquira village, just 2.5 kilometers from Villa de Leyva Square. Here, we have heights of 7 meters, interiors spanning 120 to 125 square meters, along with 30-meter terraces featuring all amenities. Interior spaces boast contemporary elements. We are amalgamating the natural, the earth, and stones with noble materials like meticulously treated wood, skillfully managed by artisans who are masters of their craft. We use natural wood for flooring, avoiding prefabricated and cemented floors. All of this leads us to revive a craft with a contemporary design and appearance, and this amalgamation is truly valuable. Technically, this is the project, and it will also enjoy generous heights that can accommodate mezzanines. In general, the project will deliver 10,000 square meters of open area and a garden. This garden will be 100% organic and will be overseen by Phoebus. We will create 50-meter beds for each dwelling, ensuring that each family or housing unit has something distinct in these beds. This leads us to revive another practice, the exchange system. We want to reintroduce everything that worked in the past, which didn't have as much impact on nature as it does today. We aim to bring back and honor the nobility of these trades. Satori comes from a Japanese word that is applicable to Zen Buddhists. When they experience Satori, they enter a state of no mind. This state of no mind is a unique, special, and unrepeatable moment. Therefore, Satori is encompassed within this concept of being unique, special, and unrepeatable.